Jacob Kiplimo just obliterated the half marathon world record, leaving the competition and history books in the dust. No one has ever run this fast over 21.1 kilometers, and the gap he created is something we rarely see in elite running. This wasn't just a race, it was a statement. How much faster can he go?
Uganda's Jacob Kiplimo set a men's half marathon world record on Sunday and also became the first runner to go under 57 minutes. The 24-year-old Kiplimo set a time of 56 minutes.
Jacob Kiplimo just pulled off something that nobody thought was possible. He became the first human in history to run a half marathon in under 57 minutes. At the 2025 Barcelona Half Marathon, the 24-year-old Ugandan long-distance runner smashed the world record, crossing the finish line in a jaw-dropping 56 minutes and 42 seconds. This was not just a new world record, it was an earth-shattering improvement on the previous mark of 57:30, set by Ethiopian runner Yomif Kayelja in 2024.
Uganda was the win in Czech Republic of the youngster, just 19 years of age, but Jacob Kiplimo is indeed a star when it comes to long distance.
Think about that for a second. Kiplimo didn't just shave a second or two off the record, as is common in long-distance running. He obliterated it by 48 seconds, a gap that is unheard of in elite racing. To put this into perspective, most world records in endurance events are broken by single-digit seconds. The men's marathon world record, for example, has been improved gradually over the years by small margins. Kiplimo, however, took nearly a full minute off the record, making it the biggest single improvement in men's half marathon history. This kind of jump just doesn't happen at the world-class level, which is why his performance has left the entire athletics world speechless.
Uganda's Jacob Kiplimo has set a stunning new world half-marathon record of 56 minutes and 41 seconds during a half-marathon race in Barcelona, Spain.
Jacob Kiplimo's performance at the 2025 Barcelona Half Marathon wasn't just a world record, it was one of the most perfectly executed races in history. From start to finish, every aspect of this run was at a level that seemed almost superhuman. The conditions were ideal, the pacing was precise, and Kiplimo himself looked like he was on another level compared to everyone else on the course. If you analyze his split times, it's easy to see why this race was so incredible. The weather on race day was perfect for long-distance running. At the start, the temperature was around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius, which is considered ideal for endurance events because it prevents overheating. On top of that, there was no wind, meaning runners didn't have to fight against any resistance, and the course itself was flat, allowing for maximum efficiency. These might seem like small factors, but at the elite level, every little detail matters when it comes to shaving off seconds. From the very first 5 kilometers, Kiplimo showed that he meant business. He blazed through the 5K mark in 13:34, which was already well ahead of the record pace. To put this into perspective, this is faster than the average pace of most professional 5K runners in standalone races. The crazy thing, this was just the beginning. By the time he reached the 10K mark, things had gone from fast to historic. Kiplimo crossed 10 kilometers in 26:46, meaning he had just run his second 5K split in 13:12, even faster than the first one. This split alone was faster than many elite runners' personal bests for a standalone 10K race. Keep in mind that most top-tier runners aim to break 27 minutes for a 10K in championship races. Kiplimo hit this time in the middle of a half marathon, and he made it look like he was barely trying. If that wasn't already shocking enough, what he did next was even crazier. By the time he reached the 15K mark, he had clocked an insane split of 39:47. This wasn't just fast, it was an entire world record in itself. Before this race, the official 15K world record was 40:42, meaning Kiplimo had just beaten that by almost a full minute. And remember, this was inside a half marathon. At this point, he wasn't just running a great race, he was obliterating records within records.
Tortich Martin, had like Godfrey Nyombi, is another businessman. That's when I started coaching, but I was coach athlete.
In the final 6 kilometers, Kiplimo continued to fly, even though there was a slight slowdown. His 20K split was 53-42, which showed that he had eased up slightly. But by that point, it didn't even matter. He had already gone so deep into uncharted territory that as long as he stayed on his feet, the world record was guaranteed. He crossed the finish line in 56-42, taking a ridiculous 48 seconds off the previous world record of 57-30. This is the kind of record-breaking performance that people will be talking about for years. Jacob Kiplimo's half-marathon world record is not just another addition to the long list of athletic achievements. It is a performance that rewrites the limits of human endurance. This was not a small improvement, a marginal step forward, or a race that barely edged out the previous best. This was a once-in-a-generation performance, the kind that will be talked about for decades. World Athletics, the governing body for track and field, described Kiplimo's achievement as Beeman-esque, referring to Bob Beeman's legendary long jump at the 1968 Olympics. If you are not familiar with that reference, Beeman completely shattered the long jump world record, leaping so far that it took years for anyone to even come close to matching his performance. His jump was so far ahead of its time that it seemed almost unreal. That is exactly what Kiplimo did to the half-marathon world record. He did not just break it, he completely redefined what was possible. The jump from 57-30 to 56-42 represents a 1.39% improvement. That may not sound like a huge percentage, but in elite distance running, that is a massive leap. Most world records, especially in events that require endurance, are broken by a few seconds at a time. Runners push the limits, but progress is usually gradual. For example, in the marathon, records are typically lowered by just 5-10 seconds every few years. The half marathon has been the same way until Kiplimo came along. The 48-second improvement is so unprecedented that it almost does not seem real. To put this into perspective, imagine the world's fastest sprinter suddenly breaking the 100-meter world record by half a second. That would be mind-blowing. It is the same thing Kiplimo just did for the half marathon. For the first time in history, an athlete has run 21.1 kilometers at an average pace of 4 minutes and 19 seconds per mile. That is 2 minutes and 41 seconds per kilometer, a speed that most people could not hold for even a single lap around a track. Kiplimo did it for 13.1 miles straight. If you take this record-breaking speed and apply it to a full marathon distance, 42.2 kilometers, you get something even more insane. If Kiplimo could somehow maintain this pace, he would finish a marathon in about 1 hour and 54 minutes. That is nearly 6 full minutes faster than the current marathon world record of 2 hours 0 minutes and 35 seconds, set by Kelvin Kiptum in 2023. Of course, that is not possible. The marathon requires different pacing, fueling, and endurance strategies. But the fact that the math even suggests it shows just how absurdly fast he was moving. Jacob Kiplimo has just cemented his legacy as the greatest half-marathon runner of all time. What he did at the 2025 Barcelona Half Marathon was not just a world record, it was an absolute domination of the event. He didn't just break the record, he took it back with authority, leaving no doubt that he was the king of the 21.1 kilometer distance. For years, Kiplimo has been a dominant force in long-distance running. In 2021, he first made history when he set the previous half-marathon world record of 57:31 at the Lisbon Half Marathon. That time stood for 3 years, proving that he was ahead of his time. But in 2024, Ethiopian runner Yomif Kejelcha broke that record by a single second, clocking 57:30 and taking the title of fastest half-marathoner ever, at least for a short while. That race was historic in itself, but it didn't take long for Kiplimo to respond in the biggest way possible. At the 2025 Barcelona Half Marathon, he didn't just take back his record, he obliterated it. His new time of 56:42 is a full 48 seconds faster than Kejelcha's previous mark. This is not just a simple back-and-forth battle for a world record. This is one man completely redefining the limits of the sport.
But because I just came here only to run a good race, but I'm happy I've broke the world record.
Kiplimo won a bronze medal.
What makes Kiplimo stand out from the rest is his consistency and versatility. He has proven himself on the roads, on the track, and even in cross-country. He won gold at the 2020 World Half Marathon Championships, showing that he could perform at the highest level when it mattered most. He also secured a bronze medal in the 10,000 meters at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, proving his ability to compete with the best on the track. To top it all off, he has won back-to-back World Cross Country Championships in 2023 and 2024, proving that he is dominant across all terrains. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.